Supply Chain Management, Chapter 11, Part 1. Learning objectives are: describe the key elements in managing the supply chain, explain the benefits of effective supply chain management, goals of supply chain management, understand 4 strategic marketing challenges, explain the difference between logistics and physical distribution. Introduction. Ensuring that the goods arrive at the customer premises at the right time, in the right quantities, and at the right price is at the heart of marketing. In the past, simply ensuring that the delivery truck was reliable and the driver knew where to go was sufficient. But in recent years, a much wider ranging view has been taken of the process of taking raw materials and converting them to customer satisfaction. Particularly in global context, this process involves many different companies, often in different countries, each with their own needs. Managing this complex chain of supply efficiently is one of the ways firms can improve their profit margins and competitive position. Benefits of effective supply chain management. Effective supply chain management reduces cost. Effective supply chain management improves asset utilization. Effective supply chain management reduces order cycle time, thus speeding up the delivery of customer satisfaction. Goals of supply chain management. The goals of supply chain management contain waste reduction, time compression, flexible response, unit cost reduction. Let's discuss one by one these goals of supply chain management. Number one, waste reduction. By minimizing duplication, harmonizing operations and systems, and reducing inventories, waste is reduced surely. For example, harmonizing materials handling equipment reduces the need for loading and unloading components and also creates economies of scale in purchasing equipment and containers. Time compression is another goal of supply chain management. With the time compression, improved information flows about market conditions enable supply chain members to predict demand more accurately and thus make response times quicker. Also, preferred customer status with the supply chain means that each member responds more quickly to the needs of other members than to the needs of non-members. Reducing response time improves cash flows for all members because deliveries happen faster, so invoices are paid sooner. Goals of supply chain management. Flexible response is another goal. So ensuring flexibility in supply chain means that all the members are able to adjust more quickly to changing market conditions. Because we know that change is constant and everyday companies have to face so many changes. So this flexible response is another goal of supply chain management. This can lead to major improvements in competitive advantage. Goals of supply chain management. Unit cost reduction is another goal of supply chain management. Good supply chain management seeks to reduce unit cost, which will either allow the firms in chain to make more money or will allow them to reduce price to the end consumer, which again offers a competitive advantage. Cost is not necessarily the same as price. A customer operating a just-in-time manufacturing system may accept a slightly higher price for receiving the small daily deliveries rather than paying a low price for one large monthly delivery, because the savings in terms of holding stocks will outweigh the extra outlay. 4 strategic marketing challenges that a company has to face with supply chain management are: customer value learning, understanding customer value chain, delivering value in a world of uncertainty, And the last one is customer value process. 4 strategic marketing challenges. The first one is customer value learning, which means finding out what customers regard as valuable is complex in the global environment, because supplying firms need to consider differing decision-making processes, differing decision-maker values, different importance rankings of service versus physical attributes values, and so forth. The value chain may span several different cultures, so that each link in the chain must be considered separately as well as how it fits into the whole. Second strategic marketing challenge is understanding customer value chain. Customers often change what they value as changing circumstances dictate. Because changes happen at different times in different countries, customer value is a moving target. Delivering value in a world of uncertainty is another strategic marketing challenge. Because change is constant and may even be accelerating, it is virtually impossible to integrate strategies of firms which are often thousands of miles apart and being pulled in different directions by local changes in business environment. Customer value process is another strategic marketing challenge. In order to meet problems raised by first 3 challenges, marketers may need to shift from a functional toward a process orientation. This may be difficult in that shareholders believe that they have invested in a company rather than in a supply chain, which makes it difficult for the process to be seamless. Logistics and physical distribution. Physical distribution is concerned with the movement of goods via road, rail, sea, and air. It is the process of organizing transportation which will move the goods in a timely, secure manner within a reasonable budget, taking all factors into account. Logistics is a word borrowed from military terminology. The logistic approach takes a holistic view of the movement of goods, examining the whole process from raw materials through to final consumer. The intention behind logistics approach is to integrate the various transport systems involved in order to ensure a smooth flow of goods. Logistics and physical distribution. Physical distribution is equal to movements of goods by road, rail, sea, and air. Logistics is equal to Y, who process raw materials, final consumer. Central Supply chain management is central to logistics. With effective supply chain management, communication should be transparent, and coordinating philosophy or rules of all members of the supply chain must be clear to all the members, and international people coordinated specialist skill with the supply chain management. Responsibilities of logistics managers. There are several responsibilities which a logistic manager has to fulfill. Number one, collaboration with physical distributions. This is the responsibility of logistics managers to collaborate with all physical distribution members, and logistic manager has to optimize of material flow within the work center. Logistic manager has to do planning and organization for storage areas and handling equipment, and logistic manager has to select suppliers, and selection of subcontractors is also a responsibility of logistic manager. Organizing after sale activities comes under the responsibility of logistic manager. Verifying that sales forecast accord with the client need is another responsibility of logistic manager. Same is developing delivery schedules is the responsibility of logistic managers. Developing packaging to meet needs for physical strength and security is another responsibility of logistics manager. So it means logistic manager has to look into all these activities of supply chain management, and logistic manager has to manage these activities efficiently and effectively. Summary. In this part, we have discussed supply chain management, and we have discussed the effective supply chain management. We have discussed the goals of supply chain management. We have discussed the four strategic marketing challenges that a supply chain has to face, and a supply chain has to manage it effectively. Logistics takes a holistic view in supply chain management. Main trade-offs in logistics are cost and service level. So a firm has to decide between what is the cost for providing a service and what can be the service level for a particular cost. Just-in-time purchasing may be counterproductive unless supply chain is well run. So some scholars have debated about it, that just-in-time can be a counterproductive and unless the supply chain is well run. So it means for effective just-in-time approach, there must be a well run supply chain, and it must be managed to make sure the just-in-time approach to make sure to make effective just-in-time approach. Relationships exist across other categories than simply buyer and seller. So in this lecture, we have witnessed that in this supply chain management, there are more players than only buyer and suppliers. So definitely, so relations there are relationships which are existing in this network. So it's not a guide, but actually is a network of supply chain. Thank you. That's all for supply chain management part 1.